Hey everyone, welcome to my podcast, or welcome back if you've been here before. Pretty happy to have you here. My name is Rhonda Lavoie, and I am the host of Tough Coffee Shop Talk and a real estate agent in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Each week, you can join me here as I review the topic of the week from my weekly collaboration held at a local coffee shop. And each week, we have a different topic that touches on many aspects of our lives. And I feel touched anybody, no matter what their adventure is in life. If they're self-employed, entrepreneur, working in a corporation, stay-at-home parent, retired, or even in between jobs. I think there's just a little bit for everyone. So I'd like to dive right in. Let's get to this week's conversation of the week. This week, we chatted about charities and volunteering. But before I dive into that, I just wanted to see if anybody noticed that my audio is a little bit different. I purchased a microphone and I think it makes things a little bit nicer, so I hope you like it. I'm enjoying it so far. It's been kind of fun to play with and see what it can do. So, yeah, enjoy. So, yeah, back to our topic of the week. We talked about charities and volunteering, and this is something that you can do like in the tiniest amounts, or you can be like full on full time. It just depends on obviously your availability, but also just where your passions lie. For many of us that are at the coffee talk, we are on different boards. So, for example, I am the chair of the my school's SCC, the School Community Council. And I'm also the chair of an AAC, which is with my company, EXP Realty, the Agent Advisory Council. And both of them are rewarding in their own way. The SEC one, I get to be, connected with Brielle's school. I get to be in the know of what's going on, help create things to happen, work with other volunteers, meet lots of people. And they're all like my daughter's parents, or some sort of connection to the school, which is a lot of fun. And then the AAC with EXP Realty, it's very different because of course it's connecting with other agents and trying to better um, our work experiences based on feedback and communications that we get from them. So I get to connect with other professionals, see different perspectives, their point of view, and be able to be their advocate to the company to bring really positive changes. And it's been really rewarding so far. Another one of the members of the membership is a also on their SCC, and she enjoys it for a lot of the same reasons that I do, just being able to connect with other parents and being present within the school. So it's a great way to give back to your school or whatever the board that you sit on. It's just a great way to give back without having to dig into your pockets. It's just donating your time, volunteering. It's like I said before, it's a great way to stay in the loop of like what the ins and outs of what's happening. You're usually the first one to know a lot of things because you're kind of that conduit of communication. Great way to connect and make new friends. I definitely have made friends in both of the boards that I sit on, and a really great way to connect with like-minded people, because people who sit on boards, their perspective and the way that they think about things is probably quite similar to you, so you just get to connect with them. Now on the charity side of it, um, this past fall, my company, so EXP Realty, they have what's called iHeart EXP Day, which is the day that all agents across the globe that belong to EXP can bring awareness to a charity of their choice. And what we did here in Saskatchewan is we organized that agents would donate money, and we would take that money and go serve a meal at Ronald McDonald House here in Saskatoon. What was really neat about it is there was just so many great benefits. So one, we got to be able to raise some money to be able to put a home cooked meal, for the people that stay at Ronald McDonald House. But we also raised more than enough money, so we were able to give him on a money donation, and we got to go volunteer our time to go prepare this meal and meet the people that, our lives, the lives that we were affecting by bringing this meal. And what was really interesting is just by chance, there happened to be an EXP employee staying there because her daughter was at the RUH here in Saskatoon. So we got to chat with her and, just really understand how her journey and what she's been going through, and how this meal of just bringing something to the table literally was helping them. So if you don't know about Ronald McDonald House, I highly recommend you look into it. The meal program is something that's really great as a group. You can have your company donate the money is needed to buy the supplies, or do like we did and fundraise it. But it was a lot of fun and very eye opening to be able to go prep and serve that meal. So that was a lot of fun. I do have another story when it comes to charities. So my friend Cole, he is the founder, owner, operator of Prairie Proud here in Saskatoon. It's a clothing line, and he's actually in his 10th year right now. And since he began 10 years ago, he has his business model is to donate a portion of his proceeds to different charities. And he'll sometimes tether that charity to a specific product line. For example, I have a curling shirt that I love. It's one of my favorite shirts. So if you see me out being casual, that's probably one of the shirts that I'm wearing. And it was a collaboration he did with Team Carrie Enerson. They created this curling shirt, and then part of the proceeds of that went to the Sandra Schmirler Foundation. So I think it's a really cool business model because he is giving back with every sale that he makes, or with all of his proceeds, a different portion. And he spreads that wealth, amongst different charities depending on what's near and dear to that product or to him. And what I really admire about Cole is that, in the last 10 years, we've definitely had ups and downs in our market, right? Like, just think of is a really good example is through the pandemic, how that affected shop owners. And, he even still, through those hard times, stuck to his business model. So it definitely shows a lot of character. And anytime I purchase something from Cole at Prairie Proud, I just know, I feel good about it because I know that part of that is actually going to be going to some sort of charity. So not only am I supporting this local business, but I'm also supporting the charity that is behind it. So I think that's pretty cool. Some other things we talked about is there are some agents and mortgage associates or mortgage brokers that will work with, say, their kids or their niece and nephews or their local sports team, whatever that might be, with their kids' clubs or kids' teams, and offer that for any deal that the team brings to them. So, say your mortgage is up for renewal, and you take your mortgage to this broker, they will donate back a certain part, or say $500 or whatever the money amount is that they decide, to your club or your kids team. So it's really cool because, one, you're supporting a local team, and let's face it, there's so much money needed when it comes to having your kids in sports. Probably feel like you're constantly fundraising. So, if you had somebody on your side to be able to do this, it would just take a little bit of that burden off. And then it's genius from the mortgage broker or real estate agent's perspective, because they have a bunch of advocates now for your business, because the more of the team members who use your services or refer those services, the more money that comes back to the team. So it's just like having a cheerleader in your corner. So definitely a wonderful way for them to build their book of business, but also a great way to give back to something that really has meaning, because you actually know the child that's behind that money that you're giving back or whatever. Another one that came up is that there's some companies that will auto collect on your off your pay stub a certain amount of money, and then donate that to a charity at the end of the year. So you don't even notice that it's being withdrawn, and they're collecting it, and then at the end of the year it goes to whatever charity they've selected, that year, or maybe they have one that they do year after year, whatever that might be. So it's really easy way to have an impact without even really seeing the impact on your pocketbook. So if that's something that you're interested in, I would suggest you talk to your employer, seeing if that's an option, or maybe even help make that happen, because doing those auto collections is not that challenging for most companies. So yeah, something to think about. Some companies I have heard will also give their staff a certain amount of money to donate to a charity of their choice. So, a couple of the members work for a local credit union, and they are given a certain amount of money each year to be able to donate of the charity of their choice. And they actually also get time off to be able to go volunteer at a charity of choice, or volunteer in general, whatever, just volunteer at something. So you can use that in different ways. Like one of them, she used it to be able to volunteer for her kids' activities. Maybe there was a sports day at school, or whatever that is, where you need to collect these volunteers. She used that for that, so that she didn't have to use a vacation day. And then, of course, the donations you can use to donate to different charities. And I just think it's a really cool thing for employers to do, to just bring some awareness to the idea of donating and volunteering for different causes. And when you are thinking about, volunteering or donating, just know that volunteer work doesn't necessarily need to be done with a charity or an organization. You can give your time to the family farm, each fall during harvest, or maybe you're the carpool parent for the kids and their friends. And that volunteering means a lot to people, right? Like, think about the family farm. It's how you get the harvest off. And, then they don't have to hire staff, and it, cuts into their bottom line. Or with the carpooling, sometimes we would say you have dual working parents and their schedules don't mix, but they really want their kids to be a part of something, and that transportation could be a barrier. So by volunteering your time, you're really helping out in a big way. But no matter what your cause, or if you donate money or time, it always feels really good. Very rarely have I ever heard somebody say, "Oh, I volunteered and I hated it. It was awful." Because you're doing something out of the goodness of your heart. You're taking time out of your day, and very rarely will you have the recipient of that be ungrateful. Like, whether you go, walk dogs for the SPCA and think of how happy that dog is to be out walking, or us preparing the meal at Ronald McDonald House, or me volunteering my time at the SCC. I always feel really great when I've done those things, because it's not expensive. It's just my time, and giving that time to make a difference and actually see the difference. It just feels good. So I'd encourage you to, take some time, volunteer, give to a charity. Giving to a charity doesn't always have to be money. There's lots of charities that need recycled goods from your home, like blankets and sweaters and things, for different things. So just look for lists like that out there. And yeah, just give back, because it definitely feels good. So that's it. That was our chat this week. If you ever have anything that you want to add to the conversation, by all means, reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear how you guys volunteer, or you are what charities you're supporting, because bringing that awareness, for me, learning about new charities and new volunteer opportunities will just, expand my horizons. So yeah, I hope you guys have a really great week. Well, that concludes our episode this week. Thanks so much for being here. It really does mean a lot to me. If you haven't already, please subscribe or hit that follow button, as I'd love if you came back week to week. If you're looking for more information on the membership, check out tufinstitute.com. Or if you want more info on me and my real estate business, check out theurbanfarmhousesaskatoon.com. Looking for my socials? I'm on Instagram at rhonda_tuf, and on Facebook at The Urban Farmhouse Saskatoon, or Rhonda Lavoie - The Urban Farmhouse and eXp Realty. Reach out anytime. I'd love to hear from you. I really hope you have a marvelous day, and I can't wait to bring you an episode again next week.